You should notify the residents that you're the new hauler, give them information, pre-run routes, make sure you're doing right by the residents. Most communities in the county in the past have given up to 6 months in advance, and they're much smaller than the City of Flint.
All right, so this is a big job. So you're interviewing, you've submitted your bid in May. Your first interview, your first contact where they're able to ask you questions, talk about the bids that you've submitted is June 15th.
Correct.
And then they wanted you to start when?
You would have started the first week of July, but they weren't going to award it for a week or more after that.
So this was it wasn't like they were making their decision on the 15th, which would have given you 14 days.
Correct.
They were saying it's going to be another week or so before we decide on the contract.
Correct.
But we need you to start on the 1st, and you're saying, well,
to do it right, we think you need 14 days.
Okay. So, and you're saying that was taken as
we don't have interest in the contract, or that we couldn't do the contract, which is totally false.
Okay. So this is what you wanted to clarify. This is the thing. It wasn't that you pulled your bids. It wasn't.
We never withdrew the bid. That was as far as the information went, was that we believed you needed a minimum of 14 days to start the contract.
Now, that is for a new hauler.
A new hauler. Republic would not need that. They're currently servicing it. They know all the routes. They've already been in contact with the residents. They wouldn't need any time.
Okay. So so they would just pick up, it would be seamless, they would go. Do you feel like that's what they wanted in the first place? Was it was that what people wanted? I mean, why wouldn't you give enough time for somebody? Why was the timeline so quick?
I think that turning in the bids in May gave them some time. They could have moved quicker. They could have been awarding it with a couple weeks, maybe even 3 weeks. It just seemed like there was a delay between turning in the bids and when the interview processes started.
Okay. So is Emterra still? Are you still interested? Is Emterra still interested in being part of this process?
Yes,
being
sir.
Considered.
We were at the last 2 council meetings. We actually let them know last week that we could mobilize trucks and have employees and be ready to start helping the very next day if the city needed it, and we'd be ready to go on full blown, be able to do the contract within 5 days at that time.
Okay.
And today, if we were to be known today, we could start Monday.
Now, who else is there? I mean, we were talking a little bit before we came on, and Emterra, you guys do tons of work here locally.
Yes, we do. I think it's close to 80% of the communities in Genesee County.
And Republic's been doing this for a long time, so they know what
They have quite a bit of business within Genesee County as well.
Okay. What about Rizzo?
Rizzo is the largest local hauler in southeast Michigan. All the companies that are a part of this contract are all very reputable companies that do a good job.
And legitimate and could fulfill the contract.
For sure.
Okay. So the only question really, and the thing that you guys wanted to emphasize, is that it was a matter of timeline and being able to do the job correctly. Because you want to notify residents. It's going to be a different system.
And like I said, we do 80% of the county now. For us to take away from those contracts to do Flint right, means we're taking work we have now and giving them subpar service. To help Flint, which isn't right to the contracts we already have.
It's a big responsibility. You got to staff up. You got to have all your equipment. You got to do all this stuff. It takes some time.
Well, and we're a Teamsters union, so we're working with the union to get new employees and things as well.
Okay. So what's your understanding right now where things stand? Is Emterra back in the mix? Are you in consideration? Is the decision-making process already set? Or is this going to be backed up now as a result of the recriminations in the process? The council went with Republic. The mayor vetoed it. The council overrode the veto. In the meantime, we've got Republic has stepped in on a temporary basis. That's good through Friday. But then what happens after that? What's your understanding where the process is?
My understanding is that RTAB has a meeting today.
Right.
And the court hearing is tomorrow. They're supposed to make some type of determination over the next 2 days. The most important thing is that the residents of Flint get their trash, recycling, and compost picked up on time, no matter who gets awarded the contract. The residents should not be fazed by any decision that's made. And the good part is the residents, no matter what company gets hired, are saving money over what they were being charged a month ago.
Okay.
So no matter what company gets hired, they're saving money, and hopefully it's determined in the next 2 days so that they don't have any interruption and any waste, compost, or recycling pickup.
All these bids are public now. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you were to submit a 3-year and a 5-year option. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. And what was it that the council voted for with Republic? Was it for a 3-year or a 5-year?
It was the contract that administration had originally brought to the table was a 5-year contract with Rizzo.
Okay. So
and
that's
I believe that then council resolution was for a 3-year contract with Republic.
All right. Where does Emterra stand on the bidding for the 3-year contract?
Per the mayor of Flint, Karen Weaver, even on the Shane Hodges show, she said we're the low bid on a 3-year bid.
Okay.
Emterra is the low on a 3-year, and then Rizzo is the low on a 5-year, and I believe Emterra is second lowest bidder on a 5-year.
Okay. And so she put the lowest bid, which was for a 5-year, with Rizzo.
Correct.
Before the council. Okay. And that's lower than the overall. Why? How did your bid end up higher 5 years than theirs? I mean, what do you suspect? What's the difference?
We had increases every year as it escalated. So year one, there was a small increase. Year two, to make up for employment, wage increase, things like that.
Okay.
The price of doing business.
All right. So, well, this is interesting, and I'm glad that you come in and help us understand this. From your perspective, I mean, what would you like to see happen? Are you going to be? Will you have someone at the court hearing tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then I guess we don't know what will happen. We don't know if the court will send it back in, if there's going to be more decision making. But I would assume the court can say, we're going to continue as is for now. And whose responsibility is it to make the decision? Do you know? I mean, who's?
I'm not sure the way it's worked so far. The process has been different from anything I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I guess right now I don't know.
Okay. Well, and you've got the mix with the RTAB still involved and
right.
In the courts. I mean, it's a little bit muddy, obviously. But you guys have bid a lot of jobs. You've got a lot of contracts with a lot of local units of government.
Correct.
Usually you've got more time to make these decisions.
Yes, in the past, you'll see that local companies such as local communities like a Grand Blanc Township or a Mount Morris Township, they've given 6 months of advance notice before they change a waste hauler or even bid the contract. They'll bid it 6 months in advance. So they have time to do proper research and award it to somebody who then has time to make all the changes or additional employment or mobilize trucks so that they come out of the gate very strong.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of operational things to consider when you do it. So obviously, the more time you have, the better it's going to be. The better the outcome is going to be for you, for residents, for local government, for everybody.
Correct.
So, all right. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking the time. Thanks so much for coming in. I wanted to ask about Jason Cooper, our news director, wanted to come in, and we talked about this before we came on as well. The home counts. How many homes are you bidding on?
You bid on over 38,000 households.
38,000 households. That's high, isn't it?
We believe that's very high.
Very high. Okay. So why on earth would they have you bid 38,000 homes?
That's what their current house count is. The city needs to do some type of study to see exactly how many households are out there to make sure they're paying for the correct number of homes. And every municipality within Genesee County that we work with, there is a house count established either at the beginning of the year or it changes quarter by quarter, or even month by month in some communities to make sure that it's an accurate billing of the house count. Okay.
Yeah, because is that something that can be adjusted going forward, or does that contract, is it locked in once you bid on 38,000 homes?
It shouldn't be. The contract can be written to adjust. And a contract this size should probably be adjusted once every 6 months.
Okay.
Because it's so large, it's hard to do the study.
How much additional saving? I mean, that's a significant chunk.
Even if you say that it's only 1,000 too high, it's 1,000 times $8, so it's $8,000 a month.
Yeah. All right. What was the total? How much will under Emterra's 3-year bid? How much would homeowners save on average? Approximately, what kind of dollar figure are we looking at?
Well, I just looked at it I just know it's less expensive now than what it was, no matter who you hand it to. And us as the low bidder would make it substantial on a 3-year, or it's very substantial with Rizzo as a 5-year.
Okay, and substantial with Rizzo as well. So they did come in lowest.
They did.
All right. Is that billed directly to the resident?
The residents pay it as part of their waste assessment.
Does the city, is it a pass through at the city, or does that money go right to Emterra if you get the contract?
The city would collect it as taxes, and then the payments would come monthly to the waste hauler.
All right.
That's why it's very confusing when people say that the $2 million savings could go to the water crisis.
Yeah.
And while the water crisis is a terrible situation, that money
it's not how it works.
It can't go to the water crisis. All
right, good stuff. Hey, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Dan, appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Dan Garman, representing Emterra Company, talking about their bid on the waste contract here in the city of Flint. 743-8255 is the number to call. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Flint's News Talk, 1470 WFNT.
In case you haven't noticed, people are saying that the dog days of summer are here, which leads me to wonder, what the heck are the dog days? But why dog days? I don't know. I tell you all this because right now there's something very special going on at the Yellow Dog Marketplace on M15 in Goodrich. It's the Yellow Dog Days of Summer, a store full of very cool stuff from some of Michigan's hottest artisans. Enjoy the Yellow Dog Days of Summer right when you need it. We're on M15 in Goodrich, just 6 minutes south of Davison.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job. It's such a hassle, the searching, the sorting through resumes. Most people don't have the right experience.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. Right from the start, you could tell it was going to make hiring a lot easier. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them. Thumbs up if I liked them, thumbs down if I didn't. No emails and attachments, printing up docs, phone calls, none of that.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I had the person we needed within 1 week. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100+ job sites. ZipRecruiter, the fastest way to hire.